because I understand what submission means. I know submission just simply means I trust your leadership. I'm aware that you're trying to protect me at all costs. So if you tell me don't go pump my gas at night, I submit to that, knowing that you're trying to protect me from whatever's at the gas station at night. Otherwise, if I'm not submitting to you, I'm not under your covering, I'm not under your leadership or your headship, I'm just doing what I want to do because you can't tell me what to do, then I'm not protected. So whatever comes at me at the gas station at night, that's on me. That's not on you. You tried to.
All right. So I was saying, ladies, what is submission? What does submission look like? Io and Maria. We got two ladies left in the room. Maria, what does submission look like to you to a man?
It's to listen to him, let him lead, listen to his advice, and then communicate
And
with
what
one
if
another.
and what if you don't agree with what he says?
Well, I would say what I don't agree, but yet again, he has to lead. So, I have to respect him, what he would say. Like I have this thing that, you could communicate and say some things, but you say what you express because we all want to be heard and understood. But if he has leadership and guidance to lead you correctly,
You
that's
follow
how
it.
I see it. You
Yeah,
follow.
yeah. So yesterday I saw this piece. It's complicated. You know that channel? Speaking to women on the street, and this woman said, "We want a man to lead, but we want to be able to lead him where we want him to go."
That sounds like some of these modern independent, I don't need no man,
Yeah,
women that say, I don't need a man. I'd like one if he'd get on my program
yeah. It's
when it's the other way around.
yeah. So
So
it's the same sort of mentality that a woman wants a man to lead her, but she don't want to follow him
there
if
you go.
it does not fall under what she wants to do. Ayo, you're back. Talk to me.
Sorry, I just wanted to introduce my husband. He just joined the meeting.
Ah, welcome.
That's him. Yes, so
Where's he?
thank you.
Ade. Ade.
Yes, yeah, that's Ade.
Ade. Pronounce
Yes.
that last name for me.
Tenkamenin.
Okay.
Ade Tenkamenin. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
So, what is submission to you?
Okay, yeah, submission. Submission is to basically what the word means, submit in every regard to the man that is the head. It could be your husband, it could be your dad, it could be wherever you have the man leading, a woman is supposed to submit. In respect to the husband, a wife should submit, lay down everything for the man, have she should trust him to lead her. She should trust him to protect her. She should trust him to provide for her and just take the leadership of the home entirely. Not that she will not have her own opinion. She will, but she has to just trust that the man knows the best in most cases.
Right. So,
Even if he does, yeah,
so
I'm listening.
what if he does? So, let's say he wants to do something, but you don't agree with it.
Okay, so let me just bring it back home.
Okay.
When my husband wants to do something that I don't agree with, I let him know politely what I think, and why I think that is a wrong, bad decision or not the right thing to do. But I still let him go ahead and do what he wants to do. When it comes back to like not work out, I don't, berate him and I'm like, yeah, I did tell you so. No, I let him understand that, okay, so why not let's try, what I was suggesting earlier on. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how
As long as
I
it's
treat it.
detrimental to the entire.
Yes, as long as it's not detrimental to the entire family or to himself. Yeah, to him also. Yeah.
Ade, you have something to say?
Oh, I do.
Where's he?
May I?
Ayo, your husband. I was trying to get him online, but I can't hear him. Anyway, gentlemen, floor is open. Submission. Why do you think a woman should submit to you if you feel that you are not the best leader?
There are many leadership styles I learned when I was in the military. We had to go to leadership courses. And if you're not the strongest leader, to be a good leader, you need to know your areas where you shine and your areas where you need your subordinates to kind of take in there. You can still lead someone. If I don't know how to fix a car, I can still lead a group of mechanics to fix a car. I am the organization. I am the driven goal. I know what the goal is, and I will drive you to accomplish it. With relationships, if your wife chooses you, it's because she sees in you a leader. All you need to do is perform that task, find the goal, push towards that goal. If her expertise gets you closer to that goal, then you manage that and don't abuse it. But, we've lost the way on that one.
Right. I specifically asked the question that way because, for example, with me and my wife, if I find that there's a task that has to be done and I am not fully up on it, you see, men, we tend to see the big picture. Women tend to be very specific.
Detail oriented.
Detail oriented. Thank you. That's the best way to put it. And so I will see big picture. And sometimes I don't see the small nuances that might get in the way of the big picture. So I will tell my wife the big picture and she will start to pick at it, man. And that frustrates me because I got a vision. I see the big picture. I know where we're going. I know what. And she'll start to pick it apart. So I ask her, please don't do that. Don't be negative with the picking apart. Tell me where I could do it better. Don't start with the negative. Start with the positive. So that keeps inspiring me to push more and more and more. In her original job, the corporate world, she was designed to find faults and problems and fix them, right? As an entrepreneur, my job is to stay motivated and keep moving to the next deal and finding new deals, but staying motivated because, we're solo entrepreneurs. So that means that you got to be able to stay inspired at all times. So I prefer her to find the positive parts so that she could move it ahead. Then when we hit that road bump, then we say, okay, how do we fix this? As opposed to, we should have thought about this. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm?
Did I lose you guys?
No, not at all. It makes sense because, just like you stated, women's are detail oriented and men's are the big picture type of person. But we have to also understand that women more so their brain are mostly on the pessimistic, if I would say. So naturally, you're asking somebody to go against their, biology. And as men, we're more, big goals, big pictures, more optimistic.
Yeah.
So I think the frustration comes is us not understanding how to use one another.
Yeah.
I think that's the because there are a corporation that will just hire somebody, just like you said, just to find fault.
Yeah.
And that alone by default is an asset because it's more to improve. So I think it's the mindset.
But I'm
how to see things.
I mean, the reason why I'm making this sort of transition is because a woman will only submit with feelings of like she's done it because she agrees with the husband. When she don't agree with the husband, then it doesn't feel like she's submitting as much as it feels like she's sacrificing, right? She's giving up something, and it's always that feeling that the man isn't doing the right thing. And lo and behold, if the man does not, if what the man has chosen does not turn out to be correct more than once, then she will start to lose confidence in that man's ability to lead. And then it could go horribly wrong. Whereas how I prefer to have my marriage work is if my wife disagrees with the direction that I'm going, I want her to tell me why is it that she don't agree, why she don't agree with me, and tell me how she would make it better. Not the opposite way of how it could go wrong. Tell me how to make it better. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think if we approach our relationships from that perspective, we sort of keep the negativity out of it because we can get to the same spot with the identical thinking. But the same, in other words, you can think negatively or you can think positively. Instead of saying, if you want to succeed in business, think about the how to solve what you see is an issue rather than stating the issue and sitting in the negative. You're not moving forward because of the negative. You get my point? So you're always keeping an eye on how to move forward. I found that always worked for me.
But Paul, you're stating especially for you. But if you in a marriage, understanding it negatively, for instance, if you bring something to your wife and you know she's gonna pick at it, and then in itself tells you what the positive side of it.
I'm forcing her
Mm.
out of the negative perspective, because what can happen in a lot of relationships is the man gets so deflated by the constant nitpicking of the negative that it kills his drive to go forward. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So many men come up with a great idea, something to do. So, hey, let's do this, baby. Yeah, if we do that, then we can't afford, we can't do this, we can't afford it, we can't do this. And then all of a sudden you get bogged down instead of, oh, okay, all right, I can see where we can, we could go with that. I see where this could be a problem, but let's look at how we can solve it. Should be the conversation, should be the point of the conversation. In other words, don't bring me a negative without bringing me a positive.
Yeah, part of being a leader is to know how to communicate and also how to guide the person that you want to lead. So if you know your spouse is on the emotional side or on the negative side, but you know she has a particular skill set that you want to tap into, then you have to focus the conversation, take your emotions out of it, take your negative attitudes out of it. This is what I want to do. You have this particular skill set. What is your legal opinion? Say she has a legal mind. What is the legal opinion if I take this action? That's what I want to hear. I don't want you to hear it's not going to work. I don't want to hear anything else. So I think communicating and she getting to know you and you getting to know her and how she thinks, you could mold and guide her over time to use her skill set to benefit you for whatever you want to do to move the family forward, to do a new business venture and so forth. So that's also coming to leadership.
Yes, absolutely. But how many of you have been with a woman where the majority of the time, if you bring up an idea or you trying to create something, the first thing she does is lead with negativity? Hands up. Let me see.
It's part of life.
Always, what can go wrong?
Yeah, always. Because, I mean, and it's natural for women to take a cautious approach, right?
Yeah, of course.
But it will
Well, it might be natural for them to do so. But typically, if you tell them, every time I open my mouth, you want to close it. Is there something you'd like to tell me? Now's your time to speak up. If not, I would strongly suggest you stop doing that.
And that's the thing. What I'm trying to show you guys is you got to know how to explain right up front. Please don't do the negative stuff. Help me come up with solutions so that we can get there, because we see that's a good idea. Yes, I understand you have some reservations, but let's focus on how we're going to solve it. How can we move forward first? I love this idea. Have you guys watched Diary of a CEO?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen.
He's the man now that's become my new mentor. In his business, he has a group of people whose only job is to come up with the worst ideas ever. That's it.
I want that.
Okay, yeah. And there's a trophy that is given to the guy, to the person on the team who comes up with the worst idea ever. And I just thought that was brilliant. And you know why he does that? He does it to make sure that people have absolute free reign on screwing up, but actually creating something in that instance. So that is literally eliminating all negativity at all restrictions on the brain. And he says, man, we are creating on a monumental basis. Did we come up with some amazing out of the pocket type of ways to make money?
Hey, just a real quick, I don't know if you noticed, Addy got his act together, new participant. So if there's a chance to get Addy in.
Yeah, Addy.
Hi, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about earlier.
Yes, no worries.
Yes.
I was you're saying hello, and we're giving you an opportunity to
Sure.
think about what your wife has said.
Yeah,
I'm stirring up
she
trouble.
gives me complete. Yeah, no, not at all. She's an extremely respectful wife. I don't have zero complaints at all. What what I found with myself is if I sense that she's kind of has a doubt over a decision that I may have made, it makes me then internalize it and, sleep on it, and then maybe the next day revise that decision, and just kind of go over it with her. I don't just kind of like sort of just go with it if I sense that there's something that she's not comfortable with. So yeah.
One of the things that I think a lot of us dread based on being in that leadership position is the words "I told you so." That process when it comes to leading, and you're not always going to get it right when you know for a fact in some of the negativity, if it all comes down to it, you're going to hear those words. And those words, dread as they may be, can hit you pretty hard in terms of the things that didn't go so well, and the failure parts. So when you hear that, and I'm going to say in my case, time and time again, and you process it, or you're trying your best to process it, sometimes you decide, well, do I want to go there again? Do I want to even speak the words or suggest the things or do whatever? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to hear that at the end if it doesn't go well. If it goes well, you may get a little, pat on the back, whatever. But that's some words that really hit home with you, and you may or may not decide to go there again.
Yeah, my wife never ever says that, which I've always really appreciated of her. She never says, "I told you so." She will.
You have a good wife. You have a good wife.
Yeah, man. I'm serious. Trust me. I'm knock on wood. I'm glad I did it the third time. But the point, I lost my train of thought. But I was trying to make a point that when you have someone who is completely supportive like that, it could literally catapult your life into a new direction. When you have a wife who's negative and who's just constantly pulling you down, man, life is a drudgery. It's a nightmare. We all know this, right? So finding that one is important, but training her is also vital. And I think that this is where a lot of guys go wrong. They don't know how to train their wife or their girlfriend.
I'd like to speak on that if it's possible.
Sure.
Yeah. Myself, I didn't grow up with the best of mothers, and it took me a long time to realize that you learn. Well, I learned what my expectations were of a woman from what I received from my mother. So my expectations, I didn't realize, were very low. And I was choosing some very low quality women, not realizing that I was choosing low quality women because my expectations were basically zero. Considering that, most youth grow up without a father in the home, and not mothers that make the best decisions. It's no wonder that men, don't make the right decisions because the examples they saw before them when they were younger was not that wonderful. That'd be my take on it.
That is true. I assume, Sean, you grew up with a father?
Yeah, I did. He's still around, and my parents are still married. They're coming up on 50 years of marriage in December. Go ahead.
What do you witness as far as leadership and submission in the home growing up? Because I'm trying to find men who have had parents like this.
When I was growing up, it was very traditional. Even though both my parents worked, both my parents are Jamaican, so it wasn't my dad, fully working, my mom staying at home. My mom was a RN, she's a nurse, and in between the times when they were working, we would stay with our grandparents. But my mom still do, house chores. She would still cook, clean. My dad would take care of the outside of the house, mow the lawn, cut the hedges, things like that. And we got both sides of, the nurture, the nature from both parents. So I feel like I'm very lucky in that aspect that I was able to have both parents who were basically pouring into me, how to be a man and how to be nurturing as well. Because as I'm still dating, I'm 41, haven't found someone yet, because I'm kind of a unicorn for lack of better terms. Because when I come across women, they're like, "Oh my God, you know how to do this and you know how to do that, and who taught you this, and why are you this way? Why are you so great? Why are you still alone?" I'm just that anomaly, and it's weird because you can definitely see that a lot of people, they didn't grow up with both their parents.
Yeah, I mean, I find what I'm seeing, especially talking to people every day, is that the individuals who did not grow up with both parents have more problems in their relationships, in their marriage, simply because they had not witnessed a proper two-family home growing up. They've only been living in isolation on both sides. They've only seen isolated parents. So they don't know how to do it naturally. Now,
Yeah.
both my wife and I both had mom and dad in the home until they passed. So all our lives, we've seen the arguments, the makeups, the breakups, the loving, the kissing, all of the subtle interactions between human beings and a couple. We've witnessed them in our house, and I really feel that that's one of the reasons why our marriage is still lasting this long. Simply because both of us, we've seen it. My ex, that wasn't the issue.
I've had I also grew up with both parents in the home, but maybe this was a dichotomy. So West Indian home. My father was from Barbados. My mom was from Jamaica. If you're from the Caribbean, who do you think is the most dominant in that process? Would it be the Jamaican or the Bayesian?
I think he froze.
Well, that's a toss up. I don't know if I don't know many Bajans. I know my father was a Jamaican, so I grew up in a Jamaican home, with a Jamaican mentality. So my father was the king in the house, right?
Well, if you chose Jamaican, you chose it right.
Yeah.
My mom was the one that ruled over him.
Right.
I didn't see the right kind of male frame on my father.
Okay.
My mom was also 11 years older. So there's another dichotomy when it came to the upbringing, where
Right.
my mom she wore the pants, I mean, you name it, it was her way or no way. So that was a skewed view of how I was brought up, and it affected my first marriage, and I think it even affected my second marriage. I'm like you, Paul. I'm maybe number 3 is the next one, but so
third time's a charm is what my wife always tells me.
Maybe, but what I'm saying is that I didn't see, unlike Sean, I didn't see that male role model in my dad. He was the greatest dad that you were, but not the best husband, based on that figure that I needed for that process. And my mom, she's, God bless, she's still living today. She's going to be 95 soon. And it's a process. She has gotten softer so much more than what my father had passed. He's already passed in 2000, but all the time that we were in the household as children, she ruled the nest. It was pretty much, again, her way or no way.
Who else had both parents in the house? Albert?
No, I didn't have both parents in my house. I was alternating from one parent to another parent, so
okay.
Can't really speak to that.
Maria,
Why is my wife quiet? She had both parents in the house. She had both parents in the house.
Yeah. Okay.
She had wonderful parents.
So that means she's seen relationships. She's seen how it should be done.
100%. 100%. And one of the things I've realized is very important as a man to look for is a woman that has a loving relationship with her father. For me, I have 3 boys, and I would not encourage them to actually date a woman that does not have a good relationship with her father. I think that's a whole world of pain waiting.
Just on a side note, though, I bought this specifically for James, so I gotta support James. So every time he opens his mouth, I gotta make
That's
sure
my man. There we go. Beautiful.
I'm gonna make sure we get that cut. We're gonna make sure of that, Paul. How much it cost? $25.
Now look what you done started. Now we all got to get the cup.
Yeah. But now I do have a question though, Paul. But could he sue him because of defamation? Are they taking his words and